Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I have pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be pulling from to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Gemini. On your side of this connection, you have inevitable with the Six of Cups in reverse. I read this in a couple of different ways. I feel as if this connection has kind of been, it's definitely been through a lot of ups and downs, like meaning that, you know, when things are good, they're really good. When things are, you know, not so good, they're not so good. And I feel like, you know, a lot of the times you're, waiting for those things to be good, but experiencing times when things feel not so good. And with this inevitable card here, it feels like you're willing to kind of wait through those times where things aren't so good, because in your mind you're like, oh, eventually things will get better. Like, they always get better. Things always turn out okay. But in the meantime, you're putting up with so much for that hope of like when things get better. The other way that I could read this is, and we'll definitely dive into these messages deeper, but I could also see this as like, you feel it is inevitable that this connection comes back together in a way. And it's almost maybe like you're waiting on this person in some way, shape, or form, which is keeping you from fully embracing some sort of transformation. I mean, the overall theme of the reading is transformation, but that's not the only reason I feel that way about this message. So, I don't know. I think that there's a lot going on here. Now, this person, they have ignoring the pain with the Eight of Swords. So, I feel as of right now, this person is very trapped in the experience of kind of running from themselves, running from their pain, running from how they feel, running from what they want. It's kind of funny how we as humans have a tendency to do that. We tend to chase or pursue what is familiar and run from opportunities that actually align more with what it is that we truly desire. And that could very well mean this connection. You know, we as humans prefer a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. So when situations feel unfamiliar, meaning that we're treated better than we're used to being treated, or we're experiencing something that is outside of our comfort zone, even if it's positive, we tend to push it away in some way, shape, or form. And I feel as if that could very well be something that this person is dealing with in this connection. Now, in between the connection, you have It's Never Over with the Death. So this Death card is another card of transformation. I feel like this connection, it could be a connection that like, break up, get back together, break up, get back together. That could be what this is talking about. Or like there's some sort of cycle that exists within this connection that like super needs to end. Now, I feel like this cycle in this connection, or like what you're going through with this connection, is very necessary, like for your own personal growth and transformation. So it feels very divinely guided in some way, shape, or form. But I just feel like there's, I don't know, this already feels like a very complicated dynamic. So let's see if we can make some sense of what's going on here. Let's start, Gemini, with your side of this connection. You have inevitable with the Six of Cups in reverse. What is Gemini's energy toward this person? Oof. Okay. Three of Swords, Two of Swords in reverse. There's a cycle. You've been stuck in a cycle of heartbreak here in this connection. And this is what I kind of feel. It's like you keep, like this I don't know if it's necessarily even just this person. It could just be a cycle of heartbreak in your relationships in general, but it's like really coming out through this person. But it feels like, you know, there's some sort of heartbreak. Things really hurt and you end up, you know, being very disappointed by the connection. But it's like a part of you knows like, oh, they'll apologize, you know, things will eventually get better. But they might get better for a little bit, or they get better in some ways, but not really in others. And then you end up right back at this Three of Swords. Because I feel like this feels like this has been going on either for a really long time, like the connection has, or this is something that you keep experiencing in your connections. This Three of Swords, just consistently getting your heart broken. That's what this feels like, consistently getting your heart broken. And that's the cycle that I feel is repeating. So, I don't know, that seems kind of vague though. So what else does Gemini need to know? Or this is Gemini's side of the connection. So yeah, what do you need to know about your energy toward this person? King of Cups in reverse. Oof. Okay. Empress. Okay, so I feel like you're showing up here as the Empress. This King of Cups in reverse feels like their energy. Now, you could be dealing with a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You definitely don't have to be, because I actually feel as if this is more about like their energy toward you in some way, shape, or form. Because if you're showing up as the Empress here, you know, loyal, here to take care of this person, like support them, be there for them, love them, nurture them. But then it feels like in return, you're getting this King of Cups in reverse kind of energy. This King of Cups in reverse can be like, the extreme end of it is like a bit emotionally abusive. The not so extreme end is, you know, being very underappreciated, undervalued, which still isn't okay. Just because it's not, you know, full-blown emotional abuse doesn't mean that it's acceptable. But I just feel like there's this energy of things being consistently unfair in this connection. Whether it is the effort is not reciprocated, or the emotional vulnerability isn't reciprocated, or the expectations in this connection are unfair, meaning like this person expects a lot out of you, but you know, you're consistently receiving the bare minimum. It feels as if there is this energy of things consistently being unfair. And I think that is where the Three of Swords tends to come from, is when, I mean, I guess unfairness is the best way, but when that unfairness really comes out. So what is this inevitable? It's almost like, it's almost like you're waiting for things to be good. Now, whether it's like to get as good as they were in the beginning of the connection, or to get as, you know, to consistently be as good as it is sometimes. Because there's definitely an inconsistent energy here. You know, because we don't hold on to connections that are bad for us because there's absolutely nothing good about them, right? There are going to be some things that either were once very good about the connection, or that like silver linings that you see that's going to make you hold on to something that is hurting you. I was trying to say heartbreaking and hurting you at the same time. So both. And I feel like that's a little bit of what's coming through here. All right, Gemini side of the connection. Ace of Pentacles, and see, there it is. And there's the Eight of Swords. So this is interesting because both of you are trapped in an experience, and that experience is being mirrored in the connection. So this Ace of Pentacles in reverse is this energy of you waiting for an opportunity in this connection, whatever that might be. Maybe you're like waiting for this person to fully commit, or you're waiting for them to consistently show up as the person you know that they could be, or you're waiting for things to go back to how they were, or whatever the case is. It's like you're wanting some sort of opportunity in this connection that consistently seems to not come to fruition, which continues, it keeps you trapped in the experience of heartbreak and disappointment, because what you're wanting and what you're getting are two like very different things. So you're trapped in the experience of the pain that I feel disconnections or similar connections consistently cause you. All right, we're going to jump over to this person's energy and just see what they're dealing with. All right, this, oh, wow. Yeah, Eight of Swords right there. So same Eight of Swords as we just saw. This person's energy toward Gemini, both feeling a little bit trapped, but not necessarily in the connection. This person's energy toward Gemini, you could be feeling trapped in the connection. This person's energy toward Gemini. A complete lack of action on their part. You could be dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You definitely don't have to be, but what is this? So there's the Two of Wands and Four of Pentacles in reverse. A complete lack of action. I don't know what that action means. Like if because you're waiting for an opportunity, right? But there's a complete lack of action toward that opportunity that you're looking for. Now, this Four of Pentacles in reverse represents this energy of this person not really being in a great place. Could be financially, could be emotionally, both. I just feel as if this person is not in like the best place in their life, and maybe they have other things they're trying to like take care of, and which is keeping them from really taking any action toward this or toward what it is you want. But the other thing with the Two of Wands here, well, because the Two of Wands is like alignment, taking steps in alignment. So here's what's difficult. As I feel like you see this opportunity that could exist between you and this person as like this could be a really good thing. Like this could, you know, if this person did these things, or if they changed in this way, or if whatever the case is, like things would be really good, and maybe those steps would be the best thing for that person. But just because something is the best thing for somebody else, even if you see that, you can't make them do that, whatever it is that might be what's best for them. How can I rephrase that? Because that sounded really confusing. Sometimes people have to make decisions that aren't what's best for them so that they can learn whatever they need to learn in their own way and on their own time. And even if from afar you're loving this person and you're caring about them, like up far or up close. I just mean like even from like an outsider's perspective. If you're watching this person make decisions that aren't good for them, or not make decisions that would be good for them, but they're not seeing that for themselves, like there's nothing you can do to make somebody else make the best decision for themselves. They have to learn whatever they need to learn in association with why they're not doing that. And that's where we have to remember that we can't change other people. You know, even if we're like, oh, but these changes would be, you know, so good for not just, you know, you, but for them and for the connection as a whole. But like, if they're, it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? You can be like, here are all the reasons you should do this. You know, this is good for you. This is what you need. But if this person is, you know, because again, they're trapped in their experience of their pain. And I said it at the beginning, you know, when someone's dealing with that, the way that they approach their connections isn't from like a healthy or logical mindset. It's going to be coming from this mindset of doing what is familiar, which might be things that aren't good for them. This person's energy toward Gemini doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they're not in a healed enough place to show up for themselves, much less for you. This person's energy toward Gemini. Yeah, there's right there, 5 of Swords and the Moon. You know, the 5 of Swords is this energy of defensiveness, pushing people away, not letting people get too close. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with this connection. And it feels like, you know, no matter how hard you try, they just won't seem to let you in. And with the Moon card here, it's because of their own fear. You know, they have this fear of not, this fear of people getting too close, and they don't want to let you get too close. So that's why there's a lack of action toward whatever it is that you're wanting, which is, again, it could be commitment. It could be them just kind of opening up and being more vulnerable, being honest with you in some way. Like, they're dealing more with a battle between them and themselves that is kind of being mirrored within the connection, which is kind of coming out as a battle between you and yourself. So, you know, a lot of times we think when we're in connections, it's like, oh, it's me versus them. Like, you know, this is about what they're doing and how they're responding to what I'm doing. When in reality, there's always something, you know, our reflections with other people, our relationships with other people are always a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So you probably know all of this. You're like, yeah, I know they won't be vulnerable, they won't take action, they won't blah, 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 and I know it's because they don't feel good enough or they're emotionally unavailable or whatever the case is. Like, you can know all of that, but you can't change any of it, right? The only thing that you can do is focus on like, okay, but what is this trying to teach me? What is the purpose of this for me? What is this trying to show me? Because what that allows you to do is open up your mind to the purpose of this connection beyond whatever this person's journey entails. Because what their journey entails and what your journey entails could be two very different things. Meaning, them choosing you or showing up for you or loving you in the way that you deserve doesn't necessarily mean that, like, if they don't do those things, you're never going to be happy or loved in the way that you deserve and desire. Like, you can still have those things regardless of whether or not this person ever gets to a place where they're capable of providing it for you. I'm not saying that that's the case, so I don't want to freak anyone out, but just thinking bigger picture. This person's energy towards Gemini. See, this is what's so interesting, and I knew this. I was actually just about to say this. I was about to say, this doesn't mean it's like unrequited love. Like, I don't feel like this is about this person not caring about you or wanting this to work, because here it is, Empress, 10 of Cups, and here's the Emperor. They have so much love for you and for this connection. It's just that I feel as if I want to break this down in a couple of different ways. Yes, this person has a lot of love for the connection, and they see a lot of potential in this energy with you, in the energy that this connection, you know, has both individually and together. But there's a big but there. Just because somebody loves you and cares about you and wants to make something work does not mean they are capable of doing so. Somebody loving you and someone knowing how to love you because they've done the work on themselves and they've learned to love themselves and they've worked through their trauma, those are two very different things. And, you know, I think some of the time we hold on to people who love us, you know, because we're like, oh, but they do love me. But they continue to hurt you because of their actions or their words or lack of actions or words or whatever the case is. And we end up getting heartbroken because of this person's capacity to love being way less than what it is that we need. So, that's why, and I would talk about that because it's important to learn that other people's actions and decisions aren't any indication of like your value or your worth. It's an indication of what they are capable of with where they're at in their journey at this time. And if, this person is in this place where they see this 10 of cups in this connection, because here you are, Empress, right? I said you were showing up as the Empress. They might see this potential. They're the Emperor here, but they are determined to push it away. They're keeping you at a distance. And that is them trapped in the experience of their own pain that has nothing to do with you. Their feelings of being unlovable and not good enough, and, fear of getting hurt that controls them and doesn't allow them to open up to love in a healthy, sustainable way. And none of that has anything to do with you. Now, here's where I feel like the problem lies, is I feel like you're waiting on that energy, this 5 of Swords energy, to change, where they do finally let you in. Because you're like, I know that they see the potential. I know that they see what this could be. So why won't they, let it happen? And you're waiting for that to happen. You're waiting for them to finally show up in the way that you know that they could, all those things. And in the process of that, you are continuing to get hurt. It's a continuous heartbreak. It's not something where this doesn't feel like this has happened like once or twice. This feels like this is a continuance, like one sword after another through the heart kind of thing. And I feel like that's where this it's never over with the death is like, there is a cycle here that like really needs to end. And it's obvious that it's been taking a toll on you for a while. I just feel like, I don't know. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm going to just keep reading the cards. All right, Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Because I don't get the vibe that this person is a bad person. I don't think that they're trying to treat you poorly. That doesn't excuse behavior, right? Empathy and understanding for why someone does the things that they do does not excuse behavior. It's not tolerance for mistreatment. But I think that, there's that hurt people, that quote, hurt people. And, it's so incredibly true. People who are trapped in the experience of other people who have hurt them, who don't heal and don't learn and don't grow from those experiences, will allow that pain to be a reason or whether it's conscious or unconscious, like either a reason or kind of a foundation of how they hurt others. And the only thing we can do is have empathy for those people and love them from afar. Now, I'm not saying this person is exactly like that, but I do feel a lot of that energy coming up. All right, Gemini side of the connection. Oof. Temperance with a star. And the Lovers in reverse. See, here's the thing. You're patient in this connection, and that's not a bad thing. Patience is a virtue. It's important to be patient. But it's like you're patient with this person to a fault, almost. Like excusing certain behaviors or justifying their actions or lack of actions or whatever the case might be. And with the Lovers in reverse here, there is this energy of accepting way less than what you deserve. And you're doing that because you're like, oh no, but, things are good sometimes. And so I'm willing to kind of put up with this because when things are good, they're really good. Or you're doing it because you're like, oh, things used to be really good and I know we can get back to that. Or you're doing it because you're like, oh, but I see the potential in this connection. I know what this could be. And any of those reasons are understandable. But the more that you are justifying this person's mistreatment of you, the more you are justifying your mistreatment of yourself. And you're saying, it's okay if I'm treated poorly because if I wade through this, if I wait through this not being treated well or not getting what I deserve in love, sometimes things are good. And I hold on to those sometimes, because if sometimes was all the time, then things would be really good. One of the best things my therapist ever told me, and I tried my best to share this in the majority of my readings, is that it's the 80-20 rule in relationships. And it's if 80% of the time things are good and 20% of the time things are not so good, it's a pretty healthy relationship, because no relationship's perfect. And it's like 80% or more of the time. 80% or more of the time things are good, 20% or less of the time. But if you flip it, and if 80% or more of the time things are not so good, and 20% or less of the time things are good, and you're spending the majority of your time wanting things to be better, then there is something going on. And there's a need to take a deeper look at the relationship and truly ask yourself, like, is this okay with me? Am I truly okay with where this connection is at, or am I constantly waiting for things to get better? And if you find yourself constantly waiting for things to get better, but accepting where things are at, and the universe provides exactly as you affirm, you're going to continue to attract the same experience over and over and over again. And that is where we try to shift our perspective from, this person needs to change, they need to grow, they need to heal, blah, 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 blah. But you have no control over any of that. The only thing we ever have control over is how we respond to how other people treat us. And how we respond to how other people treat us is a direct reflection of what we think that we deserve. And when we accept less than what we deserve, that's where we have to look at how our relationships and the way that our relationships treat us are a direct reflection of what we believe how we believe we're deserving of being treated. All right. Gemini's side of this connection. Oop. I feel like there's a part of you, so Two of Swords, Nine of Cups in reverse. I feel like there's a part of you that doesn't really know what to do. Because I feel like on one hand, again, you see that potential, you know how good things used to be, but on the other hand, you know that you deserve more. Like, you know that you deserve more, but you're second guessing whether or not that's the case. Right now, I feel like you're kind of at a crossroads in your life path, and how you choose to proceed is like really important to your personal growth journey, which is why I feel like transformation and like personal transformation is such a big theme in this reading with the Death and then the transformation card. And I feel as if this is the time to approach not just this connection, but your love life in general from a place that is different than you've ever approached your love life before. If we do what we've always done, and we make the same decisions from the same places, and we have the same habits and, the same outlooks on life, our life is always going to be the same. And our cycles are going to perpetuate because we're not going to be doing anything to change those cycles because, we're showing up in the same way in those cycles. So right now is a time for you to make a decision to close out this cycle here, because you don't deserve this Three of Swords anymore. You never did, but you don't deserve to experience this. Never did, but especially not anymore. But you've got to take your power back and figure out what's within your control to stop it. Because if this person isn't making changes, and you're waiting on them to change, but they continue not to make change, that's, at this point, feeding into a cycle. All right, Gemini's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Because you feel trapped in the experience of this Three of Swords, in the heartbreak that this connection continues to repeat, but you aren't trapped. You can step out of this. Gemini's side of this connection, please. Interesting. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel like you're pretty aware that you're being undervalued here. Wait, I want more on this Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And it was the Ace of Cups. So you're aware that you're being undervalued here. But there's a need to be fully honest with yourself about the extent to which that's the case. Because I feel like, again, there's a little bit of justifying this person's behavior. Oh, well, they're dealing, like I said, Four of Pentacles in reverse, right? Oh, they're dealing with a lot. They're going through a lot, blah, blah, blah. And when someone is dealing with a lot, you should, especially if it's someone that you love, a partner, absolutely be there for them. Allow yourself to be a support for them. But when you look at the connection, can you truly say that this person, on the times when you're struggling, is there for you? Or are you always the one showing up and caring for and taking care and protecting, and whatever, this person? Are you always the one that's doing that? And when you need the same in return, do you find yourself feeling alone and unsupported? Because if that is the case, you have to look at, and I said this at the beginning, is that really fair to you? It feels as if this connection has become very unfair. Or has always been, but you've never really recognized the extent of it, but now you're feeling the extent of it. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. This person's energy toward Gemini. Interesting. Okay. So here's what feels very unique about this connection is, so King of Pentacles in reverse, Nine of Swords. I feel as if this person has maybe quite a few things that they're pretty insecure about, but things that they're not like open about, just things that, insecurities that they have, ways that they fear letting love in, trauma, all that stuff. And I feel like you see through that. Like, I feel like you see through, like no matter how hard because this person doesn't want you to get too close because they don't want you to see the things they're insecure about, but you already see them and you love them anyway. I do feel like there is this level of unconditional love here. And that, I feel like, is why you've been willing to put up with as much as you have, is because you're like, oh, but like, I see this person for who they really are and I love them anyway. We have to remember, Gemini, that unconditional love does not equal unconditional tolerance. And you are not required to put up with unfair energy just because somebody else is dealing with a lot. Now, that might sound really selfish if you're used to always taking care of other people's needs. But the thing is we can only take care of other people or be there for or love other people to the extent that we do those things for ourselves first. Because if you are not making sure that your needs are taken care of, that you're being supported, that you're being loved in the way that you need, you are eventually going to be completely drained. You're not going to have anything left in your cup. You're going to have nothing left to give to this person or to yourself. And when that happens, you're going to find yourself feeling worthless and not good enough because you've poured everything in to somebody and you'll feel like you have nothing. But that's never true, okay? But that's why we have to be aware of when something is really draining our energy and taking so much from us, to look at, yes, that person might be mistreating us or they might, have things that they need to change. But if we're banking our happiness or our wellness even on somebody else changing, we have given them all of the power and all of the control over our happiness and mental and emotional well-being. And figuring out how you can take that power back is key. Is it setting a boundary? Is it loving them from a distance until they figure out their stuff? Is it, allowing yourself to open up to new experiences in love, to finally experience the love that you've always been deserving of? I'm not saying that has to be the case, but just kind of asking yourself those questions can kind of help you shift your perspective a little bit. This person's energy toward Gemini. Because you're both trapped in a painful experience. It's just that your painful experience is the experience of this connection. This person's energy toward Gemini. Eight of Cups with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. This is so interesting because it feels like this person received the things that they were looking for and either walked away from it, pushed it away, sabotaged it. The Eight of Cups is kind of like moving away from it. It's like got what they wanted and moved away from it. Familiar hell over unfamiliar heaven. That's what this person has been choosing. And that's how they're trapped in the experience of their own pain, I kind of talked about how, when people experience things that are good for them, even if, when that are out of their comfort zone, even if they're good for them, and they haven't done the healing and the growth to learn how to handle those things, they will sabotage it. And that will, to you, you're going to start to look at it as, how am I not good enough? How is this not enough for this person? But it's that it actually was exactly enough for this person, and they just don't know how to handle it because they haven't done the healing and the growth to be able to do so. That doesn't make them less than you. That doesn't mean that they're, again, a bad person or anything like that. It literally just means that they have healing that is necessary in order to be able to match the capacity to give and receive love that you're looking for. And the one thing, the hardest truth of all of that is there is absolutely no promise or certainty that they will do that they will heal or they will grow. There are people that go lifetimes without ever looking within themselves. This person's energy toward Gemini. But that doesn't mean you're doomed, okay? Now this person needs a little bit of a, I see the Hierophant with Two of Cups. Hierophant I feel like is actually in reverse, but kind of carries the same message. They need a bit of a wake-up call. And I don't mean that they need a wake-up call in the sense that their perspective is very not overshadowed. I'm trying to think of the right word. It's very driven by their pain. It's very driven by their insecurity and their fear and their past pain that has nothing to do with you. Their perspective and their actions and their choices and their decisions and all those things. Because again, Ten of Cups with the Empress, right? They saw all the good that this connection had to offer, and they're the ones who I feel distanced themselves from it in some way, shape, or form, pushed you away. So it has nothing to do with you not being enough. It has everything to do with this person needing to we push love away when we don't think we're deserving of it, right? And you can have empathy for this person and saying, I'm sorry that you don't feel like you are deserving of the love that I have to give. And I'm sorry that, you can't accept that. You can't accept what I have to give. But at the same time, I can't continue to give to someone who cannot accept and reciprocate because that's draining me, that's hurting me. And I have to love myself too. All right, in between this connection, you have It's Never Over with the Death card. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and I have an advice card to pull at the very end. Thank you, Gemini, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Gemini, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.